need a realtor's license to wholesale. This is an old slide. I used to wholesale about 50 houses a year. I'm really slowing down. We do have about 125 rental properties. We do rehab a couple. My wife, Kim, is here. Raise your hand, Kim. Most of you know her. She's my partner, my soulmate. I love her. We're going on 28 years, and she's an addict. When I first married her, the addiction was shoes and purses, and now it's traveling. We just got back from 2 weeks in Cancun, and we're leaving Sunday to go on a month of cruises. So I support her in all this, and a lot of you have traveled with us, so I'm happy to see you here. If you have some travel ideas, talk to Kim, but I support her in that. Anyway, moving right on, back to real estate. This, for real, the guy wanted a light outside, so he drilled a hole through the wall and put a extension cord. He put foam there, so it's good. Here's my agenda for tonight. I'm going to keep it real simple. I'm going to cover a lot of stuff. I'm probably going to go over it pretty quick, but I want to do these three basic things. I want to teach you about wholesaling. I do want to show you a case study or two, and if you have a deal, we can certainly talk about it. And then hopefully, I want to inspire and motivate you. If you've lost inspiration or you're bored with real estate and looking for something fun, this is another exit strategy, wholesaling. Before I get started, though, I want to talk about mindset, because this is super important to me. I think you can have the mindset of scarcity or the mindset of abundance. And let me talk about those for a minute. If you've got a mindset of scarcity, you might run across a deal and you're afraid to talk to anybody about it. And you might not even want to tell me the address, or you're afraid somebody's going to come and steal it from you. And I'm going to tell you that just isn't so. And everybody here that's been in real estate will vouch for you. That's not the case. This group is amazing. Anybody here will bend over backwards to help you with anything with the deal. I feel very comfortable. If I had a deal I was working on, I'd put it up here, I'd put the address, and I would feel comfortable nobody in this room is going to go and steal it, because they know there's a million other deals out there. So you have to have that mindset of abundance. That there's plenty of deals for all of us. There's millions of households in St. Louis. We couldn't possibly get to all the wholesale deals out there, even if we tried. And some of us are trying, right? So let's jump right in. What is wholesaling? Let me just quick show of hands. Let me ask a few questions. Who is not really familiar with wholesaling? Okay. And who is familiar but wants to be a wholesaler, thinks they want to try wholesaling? Okay. I know you did. I talked to you. Okay. And this next one I think is important. Who is a wholesaler? Stand up. My wholesalers in the room, stand up. I asked all my wholesaler friends to come, and then I know there's other people in the room that are wholesalers too. If you're not a wholesaler and you're interested, I'd tell you, look at these people, and afterwards, race up to them. Introduce yourself, get their contact information, because I know they're willing to help. I just know. All right? Okay, thank you guys. So let's talk about what is wholesaling. Anybody want to take a shot at saying what they think wholesaling is? Anybody? Buying and selling contracts. Okay. Yeah, that's certainly part of it for sure. Yeah. Oh, I do have candy to give away. Yeah, Phil, you have to yell. I saw your hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, it's finding a house for somebody else to flip.
Finding a house. Okay. Finding a house for somebody else to flip. Okay. I'll bring it. I'm almost there. All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
Trying to resolve people that are struggling with certain situations.
Trying to help people in certain. Yeah.
That are experiencing like foreclosures.
Yeah.
Certain issues that they can come to an agreement.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it. They may have some issue that makes them motivated. Foreclosure or something else. Yeah. Yes, perfect. Well said, Grace. It's yeah, you brought up a lot there that we'll get to in a second. In the simplest form, this is wholesaling. Wholesaling is very simply finding a house that's a deal and putting it under contract. Who else ever found a house and put it under contract? Yeah, that part's easy. Anybody got any questions about putting a house under contract? That part's super, super easy, right? And here's the fun part. Once you have it under contract, you sell the contract. So somebody will come along and pay you money for that contract. It's a beautiful thing, right? Does that make sense? And people are going to have tons of questions, but here's, I brought a copy of some of the contracts I use. I've got a very simple one-page contract. I can go out and find a house that's a deal, and I can put it under contract with one piece of paper. Justin. So let's say Justin has a house and he's going to sell me. I can put it under contract with one piece of paper. Super simple. Now it's under contract. I send this paper to the title company, right? The title company is working on the title work, and I know it's such a deal that maybe I talk to Sandra and say, hey Sandra, I've got this amazing deal. Will you buy it? And if she says yes, with one piece of paper, I can sell her this contract. It's an assignment. Anybody that's in real estate, you know, an assignment. So I can assign this contract for Sandra for money, and this goes to the title company. I don't even go and, thanks, I was like down. Any young people in here wanting to be wholesalers? This kid's a rock star. Young? Yeah. See, you're young. He's my flooring guy that stood up. If you guys need flooring, talk to him. Actually, don't talk to him. Talk to Boston over there, yeah. Call David, yeah. This kid's 21. This kid's a wholesaler, rehabber, owns rental properties. Is that inspirational? I don't even know that right on. He's a rock star. I don't even know that I knew what I was doing when I was 21. So here's the beauty of this. And this is the beautiful part. I put it under contract. It didn't cost me any money. Now, realtors might say, well, I need to put an earnest money deposit. Okay, put $1 if you need to. But it's trivial. It doesn't have to be, it can be a token amount if you want. And you put it with the title company. So really, I didn't spend any money. And now I sold the contract in this situation. I sold it to Sandra. And that didn't cost me any money. Who goes to closing? Well, she does. She's the buyer. He does. He's the seller. And I just get paid a big fat check out of the title company at closing. I didn't put any money up. I didn't have to apply for loans. My name was never on the chain of title. Clean and easy. Sound simple? That, in a nutshell, is wholesaling. So let me go on some more. Any questions about that? Yeah.
What if you have a real estate agent that's selling a house and you can't use that one sheet of paper because they use their contract, right?
Yeah, we can wholesale. So this is just a simple example. If there's a realtor involved, you're going to use the board realtor forms. Okay. If you are a realtor, your broker is going to want you to use the board forms for sure. And if you ever read through those forms, it'll say right in there, this contract is assignable unless there's seller financing involved. And in that case, it's not, but you're probably not going to be in that situation with seller financing. This is just a little bit of inspiration. If you want something different, you've got to go for it. You know, so. I'm going to bring you all the resources that you're going to need to do wholesaling. If you get out of here and you find a deal and you're not sure who to call, these people, a lot of them are at this table right here. These are the people you want to connect with. So here's the top 5 questions that I get about wholesaling. And I'm going to just take some time and go through each one. And then I'm going to show you a case study. And then at the end, I will open it to other questions. People will say, well, how much money can wholesalers make? How much money are you guys making now, right? What contracts to use? And then this is the one that probably the number one issue, where to find the deals. Would you guys say this is what you're having the most trouble with right now? Where to find the deals. And then where do I find the buyers? Everybody is always worried when they first get started. Oh oh my gosh, I know this is a deal, but I'm afraid to put it under contract because where am I going to find? What if I can't find a buyer? Where am I going to find a buyer? And then I always get the question, do I need a license? So I'm going to address that. So let me just slowly go through each one. First, how much money can a wholesaler make? Well, there's no limit. So let me just kind of give you some rough averages of what I'm seeing right now. And depending on what you focus on as a wholesaler, your numbers may vary. But what we see pretty consistently, it's pretty easy in the residential market to get a $10,000 to $15,000 assignment fee. Pretty easy. With that, just a quick question: how many of those do you need a month? Right? It's so it can be a good living. And wholesale. So I believe that you can wholesale 5 to 20 hours a week. Wholesalers, you guys spending more than 20 hours a week on your wholesale stuff? I get it with rehabs. No. Right. Yeah, you're going to put more time in on your rehabs and rentals for sure. I feel like this is a pretty fair number. If you wanted to wholesale full time, you can do it with this 5 to 20 hours. This I love. I don't know if you can see this. Somebody in their house actually labeled the switches, and here's the part that I love. You almost can't see it. One switch says attic, and one switch says no clue. They didn't have a clue, but if you see up here, it says leave it on. We don't know what it does, but you better not turn that thing off. I got a huge kick out of that. Yeah. All right, the second question, what contracts to use? That's simple, I kind of addressed that. If you're a realtor or if there's a realtor involved, you use the Board of Realtor contracts. If not, use whatever contract you've got. I mean, it's nothing special. And if you want a copy of mine, I brought a bunch of them. I'll leave them up here. And at the end, I'll give you my contact information. So if there's not enough here, email me. I'll send you a copy of mine. This is a very simple one. I paid an attorney to create, to be super simple, super generic. It's not going to cover every possible thing, but it's got a place at the end. You just write in. It's simple. And even, who even did this? So it's a one-page fill in the blank. On page 2, my attorney went through and numbered every blank, and it gave you a page 3 where he explained what to write in on each, as if it was, it says date. He even wrote, this is the date. He's good. And you don't have to email me and tell me that his numbering's off. He's an attorney, he's not an accountant, so he skipped a few numbers here and there, but it still works. So any questions about what contracts to use? Anybody nervous about, I don't have a contract? Come up and get one of mine afterwards, all right? Yeah, that's simple. Where to find the deals? This is something I always get questions on. Where to find the deals? This is, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble here. This is where I would just ask, who's finding deals right now? Where are you finding deals? What are you using to find deals? Driving for dollars, postcards? Yeah? Yeah? What do you find is working best? Yeah? Postcards. Anybody else? What's working good for you? Yeah? Nice. Okay. So he's sending letters to people who have been living there a long time. Presumably, after they've been there a long time, they got a lot of equity. Yeah. Who else? Referrals. Referrals are amazing. I find referrals are the best deals that I ever find. They're the most lucrative. They're just all around the best, typically. Anybody got any deals they want to refer while you're here? Yeah, so okay, get out your camera, cell phone if you want. Take a picture of this. This is what I'd recommend. This is, if you're not sure where to find deals, this is it. And you see the number 1 thing up there? RIA meetings. RIA stands for Real Estate Investment Association. That's this meeting. I've gotten a lot of deals. I've probably done, well, I know I've done hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of deals with people in this room. And this is a great place. Lots of other things on there. Networking in the middle, that, like I said, that I find that to be the best. Tax sales, you need some money, so it's kind of hard, but direct mail, that's powerful. Business cards, if you're a wholesaler, you should have business cards and be putting them out everywhere. You should be giving them to everyone. I know you had asked me for this. Here's some, postcards. Okay, where am I going to mail the postcards? Letters, where am I going to mail the letters? Here's where I would recommend a mail. The number one easiest list to mail to, and that most people start with, is the non-owner occupied. And you're looking for burnout landlords, you're looking for somebody that's got a vacant house. That non-owner occupied is easy. Any realtor can pull that list for you for free. And just mailing a simple postcard or a letter, that's a great place to start. And mail them something simple that just says, I want to buy your house. And you're not looking to buy their house through it, you're really just looking to get them to call you. Once they call you, you can have a deeper, richer conversation with them. Any questions about any of this? Anybody have anything they want to add? I know we got people in the group doing Facebook marketing, Craigslist marketing. I mean, you name it, somebody's probably done it. Tried bus stop bench marketing, people doing radio ads. Okay, and where to find the buyers? Who's worried, oh my gosh, if I put something under contract, I might not find a buyer? Yeah, I know, that's a big worry. And if you're not worried about it now, you're worried about it when you're signing that contract to put it under contract. Trust me. In wholesaling, you want to sell it to one of two people, one of two types of people. It's two we always sell to. Rehabbers and landlords. Wholesalers, we're the deal finders for rehabbers and landlords. We're the deal finders for the other investors. We find deals and sell it to them. Now, typically, we don't sell it to owner-occupant. We don't sell it to that brand new couple that just got married and wants to move in because they want to do inspections. They want to do appraisals. Their process takes months and months. How fast can where's my rehabbers and landlords in the room? Yeah. Will you guys buy it as is, pay me cash, and close in 3 to 5 days? Yeah, that's what I want. So that's why we're selling it to rehabbers and landlords. So back to this, where do I find the buyers? Right here. They're all here. It's easy to find buyers. Right now, in this market, buyers are everywhere. This room is a great place. Facebook Marketplace is a great place. There's lots of investor groups on Facebook that you can find that are full of rehabbers and landlords, and that's exactly who we want to sell to. Stuff sells fast. How long does it take to sell something? If we have a deal, how long does it typically take us to sell something as wholesalers? How long does it take you guys? 1 day? 3 days? 3 days is a long time. Even when the market's slow, wholesale deals sell in a day, 2 days, 3 days. If we don't have it sold in the first couple of days, something's wrong with the deal. It's fast. It's fast. That's another. I've got the attention span. My wife will confirm this. I got the attention span of a flash cube. I mean, wait a minute. Most of you people are too young to even know what that is. The old people get it. But it's fast, and that's one of the things I love about this. If we do a rehab, I mean, that could take months, 6 months, 9 months, maybe. It's like having a baby. But wholesaling's quick. It's fast. All right, any questions about where to find the buyers? Yeah.
I just want to point out, it's got to be a deal though. So, as a wholesaler, we need to make sure we actually buy the deal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. So, I don't know if you all heard that. Jim said, super important to make sure it's a deal. I can tell you, I've done probably close to 1,000 transactions, and every single one of them, well, 90% of them, and people that know me and have worked with me know this. I'm putting it under contract, and I'm not telling the seller this, but I'm telling my friends and you know, other people, man, I kind of think this is a deal, right? The number, right? Wholesalers, you're with me on this, you know, think it's a deal. We did the math, it looks like it's a deal, but we're never really sure. How do you know? Put it for sale. If it's sitting there for 3 or 4 days and nobody's picking up on it, then you know, oh, it's not a deal, right? And you hate to ever go back to that person, but then at that point you realize, oh, this isn't a deal. So always make sure that you've got some way out of that contract, if you've got some kind of contingency if this doesn't work. So it's never where you want to be, but it's more important to do the math, right? I'm not going to go in. I wasn't planning on going into the math. Does anybody want me to go through the math of what's a deal versus not a deal?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, we can do that. Let me finish this slide first because this is super simple. Do I need a license? Do I need a license? People say, do I need a license? And they're talking about, do I need a business license? Do I need a realtor license, a broker's license? And let me address Illinois first. Anybody from Illinois? Anybody from the east side? Anybody potentially going to do a deal in Illinois? You absolutely 100% need a realtor's license to do a wholesale deal, to do even one wholesale deal in Illinois. It's the law. Now, that's my official stance. Now, there's laws against speeding too, and I know some of you do it. I just wouldn't recommend because you might get caught. So I'm telling you, if you're gonna, and you don't need a license in Missouri, not yet. At some point they may change that, but if you did, so what? Get a license. How many people have a realtor's license? Easy, right? It's easy. Sit through a class, take a test, you got a license, boom. Now, a lot of people will think, oh, wait a minute, so I don't want to have a license because as a realtor, now I've got this whole other set of disclosures that I've got to tell the person before I buy their house, right? I've got this whole, did you guys see my disclosure on my very first slide? It said I'm a wholesaler, a landlord, and a realtor. That's it, I'm done. I've disclosed. That's all I had to do. It's easy. Who's doing direct mail? Wholesalers doing direct mail that are realtors. You just put on there realtor, broker, right? Super simple. Does that degrade your response rate? I don't think so. I don't think a bit. Not a bit. Matter of fact, sometimes you get deals where it doesn't work as a wholesale, but they love you and they end up listing it with you as a realtor. So it's opens up a whole nother revenue stream. So you don't need a business license to do this. You don't need a realtor's license in Missouri, but if you get into this business at some point, you're probably going to want to get a realtor's license anyway, and it doesn't impact your wholesaling at all. Any questions about that? Okay, let's talk about the math. I don't have a slide for the math. But let's talk about the math. You may have to get out pencil and paper for this. To do wholesaling, you need to know 2 numbers about the house. 2 numbers, and that's it. You tell me 2 numbers, and I'll tell you based on those numbers what you can make on it. The very first number is what's the house worth when it's fixed up? We call it ARV, the after repaired value. ARV. Who's familiar with the term ARV? I love it. Who's not familiar? Never heard that before? Just a few people. Okay, super easy. ARV. Where do you get an ARV? From a realtor. Comps, right? A realtor can tell you if you're in a neighborhood and there's 400 houses in this neighborhood, and half of them are 2 stories of 2,000 square feet. A realtor can look and say, well, yours is similar to this one, and this one sold for this price. They can tell you with some degree of guesswork, accuracy, that what they think this will sell for when it's fixed up, and they're good at it. They're pretty close most of the time. I mean, they're good at it. Now, sometimes you get a unique house that's maybe on land or something strange, or there's something weird about it that's a little challenging, and that's where a little bit of guesswork comes in. But for the most part, they can tell you that what we call the after repaired value, the ARV. This is what it's going to be worth when it's fixed up. And we need that because most of the time these houses are not fixed up. These houses are motivated. The sellers are motivated for some reason. Sometimes it's a landlord that's burnt out and the tenants, that finally evicted the last tenant. The place is a dump. I just want to get rid of it. We buy lots of houses that way. We buy houses in probate where mom and dad lived in the house forever. The toilet's still blue. My dad still has a blue toilet. I'll show you a picture of it. I'll show you my 5 favorite toilets later, okay? And how to make your own garbage disposal if you're interested. I'll show you that. I had a tenant that did it with a blender. You'll see it. I swear. Okay, back to what I was talking about. What was I talking about? ARV. What was that? Thank you, George. I love you, man. Keep me straight here. Okay, so the number one number that you need, I told you need 2 numbers. The number 1 is what the thing could be fixed up. It's ARV. The second number, you need some guesstimate of repairs of what it's going to take to get the house fixed that nice. We call that the repair costs. And the reason I say a guesstimate is if I have 5 contractors come over and I tell them what I need done, am I going to get 5 different bids? Absolutely. And in reality, I'm probably with 5 contractors, I'll get 7 different bids. Because you might say, well, I could do it this way cheap, or I could do it this way a little more. So I'm going to get my bids kind of all over the board. So I just need something, a range, or an idea or a thought of this is my best guesstimate for repairs. So with those 2 numbers, that's all I need, the ARV and the repairs. And the math is simple, very, very simple. Most of the time you take 70% of the ARV. So if the ARV, the house could be worth $100,000, I take 70% of that. That gets me to $70,000. I subtract off the repairs. So let's say it was $20,000 in repairs. Now I'm down to $50,000. That number is what a rehabber will pay for the house. Typically, that's a ballpark of what a rehabber is going to pay. That leaves them enough profit that they can buy it, still make a profit, and we're fine. So I need to buy it cheaper than that. So if the rehabber is going to buy it at 50, then maybe my offer to the seller is 40. Does that make sense? The math is super simple. I would say it was 5th grade, but math, but watch that. Are you smarter than a 5th grader? And I didn't do well on that, so I don't know what grade level it is, but it's simple. Yeah, Pete.
Because I just wanted to mention on this same thing,
Well, speaking.
to investors, I recently did an inspection.
Come on, let's go.
It was going to be his first ever property. And he thought it was a great deal because he was buying this property and it was a 2,500 square foot city brick house, buying it for 10 grand. I told him not to buy it. Because he was buying it for 10,000. The ARV on it might have been 120, 130, after it's all fixed up in the neighborhood it was in. The house is going to need well over $100,000 in repairs. I was like, the money's not there. You'll dump all your time and money into this, and there's no money on the back end of it. So just because it's a low price house doesn't mean it's a deal.
Yeah, that's thank you for sharing that. That's super important. And that's true. Just because the house is cheap doesn't mean it's a deal. The math still has to work. So if the ARV is 100 and the repairs are 100, the math isn't going to work. So thanks for sharing that. Any other questions about the math? Okay, let me show you. Let me show you this case study. Yeah, I'm not to the 5 toilets yet. I will show you those. This is an old one, but I pulled it up because I had it. This is 5 years ago. This is Don McGee. He's not here. I wish he was. I love this guy. Who knows Don? You guys all know Don McGee. Yeah, love the guy. So this guy's retired. This sounds like a dating ad. He enjoys bowling, watching football, chess. He's single. He's retired. He's on a fixed income. He had free time. He decided he was going to wholesale, so he wanted to just make some extra spending money. So he went out and got a vacant property list. You can buy a vacant property list offline. I just bought one recently. I bought one last month. I think I I think I paid about $200, and I got every single vacant property in all of St. Charles County, all of St. Louis County, and a massive list for St. Louis City. I threw the St. Louis City away. And in the list, interesting, also came with one phone number associated with each one, so we could call him, and he chose to mail them. He just sent some handwritten, he's got time, so he handwrote some letters, sent them out saying, I want to buy your property, and he started getting calls. Within about 60 days from when he started, he got this house. And this is St. Anne. Who's my St. Anne buyers? Anybody buying rentals or rehabs in St. Anne? Yeah, it's a great place. Great place to do rentals or rehabs. Oops, let me go back. Sorry. This is 2-bedroom, 1-bath, hardwood floors, nice lot. It was vacant. Remember how I said I need 2 numbers? Let's do the math. So my ARV is 100,000, and it needs 25 in repairs. So Justin, I'm gonna pick on you. Is that all right? You need a calculator. How much? How much would you guys pay me for this house? How much would you pay me for this house? What's the most you'd pay me for this house? 50,000? Okay. 35,000? Okay. So we know what kind of range we need to be in. So if we go and talk to that seller and the seller wants 100,000, it's not a deal, right? And just to be clear, statistically, most of the houses you go to are not going to be deals, right? We're looking for those motivated sellers. We're looking for the needle in the haystack sometimes, it feels, but there's deals out there. You just have to go. It's all about the grid. It's all about don't give up. If this no gets you one step closer to yes, right? So here's what happened. The owner was in a retirement home. The house had been vacant. Don wrote a letter. And they agreed to sell for $35,000. Justin said, based on the math, he'd pay up to $50,000. So Don offered it out at $45,000. In one day, he had 4 offers, sold it fast. This is the important part, and this is what Jim was saying. It's still got to be a good deal. Not just for us when we buy it, but it's got to be a good deal. If I'm selling this to Justin, it's got to be a good deal for him. It's got to be a win-win-win, right? Super simple. You all see that, right? Yeah.
Okay, so of those pieces in the equation, if you don't have a ton of rehab experience, how do you know what the rehab value, rehab cost are going to be?
So her question, and that's a great question. If you don't have rehab experience, how do you know what those repair costs are? There's contractors in this room. Is there, depending on who's here. Usually there's contractors that I can call and say, come over, and they might do it once for free. After that, you might be paying them $100, but you better be following them around and learning. Oh, that's what that costs. That's what a kitchen costs. That's what, get good at it fast. It doesn't take long, and you'll find out real quick. Yeah, that's true. What Ed said is there's cheat sheets online. There are definitely some cheat sheets. Those cheat sheets age fast, real fast, right? We see the cost of stuff change, especially with COVID. Stuff changes dramatically. So if you are going to use a cheat sheet, still pay a contractor that you trust, that you know, or really even better, pay a contractor that somebody else in the business trusts and recommends, or have somebody else that you know look it over and just say, yeah, these numbers make sense. Oh, I gotta play this video. This is a little quick 90-second video, and I play it because I love the ending. Hang on. All right, Dad. Tell everybody your name. All right, and you got your first wholesale deal?
This is my first check. I'm very excited, and I'm waiting on many more to come right now.
How'd you get it? How'd you do the deal?
I sent out letters, and with your help, I went out and looked at the house, and we got it at a good price, and made a good profit off of it.
Right on. And how much
much we made that? It was a $10,000
$10,000 check,
signing fee.
Yeah, good check, yeah.
Right. We're here, Danny, so I don't know if you remember this. You and I met here the very first time, July 20th.
Yeah.
And what is today, October
13th.
13th?
Yeah.
So we met July 20th, and by September 20th, you had this thing under contract.
Yeah.
And now, October 13th,
It
so
really works.
closed yesterday.
It really works.
60 days to get it under contract, and less than 90 to get it closed out.
Oh, yeah.
Here comes the day part.
It's hard work at times, but it works.
And what are you gonna do to find another one?
That's it.
Same thing, repeat the process.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
All right,
Now, any advice for new people?
listen to Chris.
I love that. Listen to Chris. I could show you deal after deal, and as a matter of fact, I'm willing, if you want to, you know, if you ever want to, I'm willing to just show you deal after deal, tell you how we got it. This is a deal. So Mike stood up earlier. This is a deal Mike and I were driving by in South City. We saw it boarded up. We just look up on the tax records and see who owns it. True People Search. If you find somebody's name and you know the old white pages online, you can use True People Search and it'll tell you a dozen phone numbers that may be this guy, and we just call through each one. We found it. The guy said, "Yeah, I'll sell that." We never even went inside. So you remember, sell it to rehabbers and landlords, right? While we were driving by 4 houses down, we saw a rehabber there. So we got the number off the side of his truck and called him and said, "Hey, are you interested in a house?" And he said, "Yeah." And we already had it under contract. The owner was out of state. We got it under contract over email. We never went inside. Do you think the rehabber 4 houses down has a screw gun that'll get him in there? Yeah, he was in there in a heartbeat. He called us right back. Yeah, he'll take it. We only make $5,000 on it, but it was easy. It was a no-brainer. That's just an example. Now, I want to point out this next house because of this house. If we look at this house, it's boarded up. It's obvious it's in distress. And a lot of people think this is all that we wholesale is just terrible, junky houses. You know, they see the We Buy Ugly Houses sign, but sometimes, I mean, you might think this is ugly, but it's a cute house. It's a nice house. It's beautiful. It's got landscape. There's nothing driving by this house that would tell you this owner is distressed and ready to sell. I mean, we've bought, you guys can attest, we bought lots of houses that by driving by the outside, you'd have no idea that the owner was distressed or that there was a situation that's distressed. I was going to say earlier, we buy a lot of stuff from probate. What happens in probate, somebody passes and they left it to the kids, right? And and a lot of times the kids are my age or, you know, they're adults. If there's multiple brothers and sisters, it's very common that the brothers and sisters won't agree. You know, I was telling you my dad has a blue toilet. I didn't finish that. So if it was left to us, there's 7 of us. If we were going to argue over the blue, are we going to replace that blue toilet? Well, that blue toilet might cost me $200 to replace, right? And then while I'm doing it, I got to replace the rest of the blue in the bathroom. And one of the 7 of us has got to put up the money. And then will we get it back? And do we trust our brother? I'm telling you, we'd wholesale that thing so fast. And that's what happens a lot in probate. And anyway, so I say all that to just say you can't tell from the outside. You can't judge a book from by its cover. We wholesale some beautiful houses sometimes. Just a few inspirational things before I wrap up. And then I will open this up to questions, and we can talk about anything you need to. You can say you can do this day one, or you can do this one day. And if you were one of the people that said, "Hey, I want to do this wholesaling," I'd say this. I put together a chart for you, a graph. I'm an engineer. And this is where I want you to focus your time and money. All of this 99% is looking for a deal. This 1% is everything else. And I say that because of this. This has happened to me a lot. Like I'll teach here or something because I love to do it, and then I'll see somebody a year later at Home Depot and they'll say, "Oh, hey Chris, remember me? I said, "Yeah, how's it going?" And they go, "Oh, I'm so ready to wholesale. This is great." And I'll say, "Oh, yeah, well, how's it going?" "Oh, my wholesaling business it's great." "Really? Have you done any deals?" "Not yet, but I got a website, I got my license, I got my realtor's license, I got an LLC with the state of Missouri, I got a federal tax ID number, I've got an accountant that set up a C Corp, right? You guys know where I'm going with it. Like, don't do any of that. Just go find a deal. If you're gonna wholesale, just find a deal. Don't worry about getting websites and landing pages, and just find the deal. That stuff will come later. Any questions? All right. So this was my agenda, teach you about wholesaling, show you a case study, inspire and motivate you. Hopefully I've accomplished that. I thank you for your patience sitting through this and my bad jokes. Any questions? Andrew? Yes. You guys want to see my 5 favorite toilets? I don't have a banana yellow one. Is that at your house? Okay. I found a deal. What do? I'm scared. So when I'm done here in a minute, I'm going to turn this back over to Jim or Lloyd or somebody. But don't forget, stand up again, my wholesalers. Just stand up just for a second. If you want to know about wholesaling or you think you might get a deal, search out these people right afterwards and get their contact information. I know these guys will bend over backwards to help you with the deal. Now, you're going to split it with them. Well, you might not know that, but I'm telling you, you will split it with them, but they will be glad to help you. Thank you, guys. Oh, yeah, I should have showed that first. Who are you going to call? Young people don't know who this is. Mallory, do you know who this is? Ghostbuster, okay. All right. And here's my name. Feel free to snap a photo of this. Remember how I told you my wife's addicted to traveling? We just got back from 2 weeks in Cancun, and we're leaving Sunday to go on a month of cruises, so don't expect a fast response from me. I'm just telling you. Hook up with this group. All right, my 5 toilets. Here's number 1. A 5-gallon bucket toilet. I love it. I love that. Here's the beauty of this. How many times have you broken the top of a toilet and never been able to find another one that fits here? It's just a 5-gallon bucket lid. It's easy. This one's, it's good to be king. That's padded leather. Yeah. These are ones that other investors have seen that posted. The ones that I've seen, well, I didn't bring ones that are mine. My favorite that I've seen a lot, and I think you guys have seen, the toilet used to be white, and now, it is.
It's not white anymore.
We had a house, Kim can attest, I'm not making this up. We had a house, the husband and wife were fighting. The husband was banished to the basement. There's no bathroom in the basement. The husband had the flu. We evicted those tenants, and as they moved out, I had to go down to the basement. He had 6 5-gallon buckets filled to the brim with poop and pee. We had to carry out. I've seen some nasty, nasty stuff. So no, these are the clean ones. Here, I got a kick out of this one. It's hard to tell on the screen. This is an actual bathroom, and they took the bathtub. That's the bathtub. That's a shower surround. They put a plywood, put couch pillow, made it a couch, and with the way they got it set up, it looks like a funeral parlor kind of a little bit. I creeped out by it. I've seen a lot of houses. We've been in lots of houses, and I don't have radar for spiritual stuff, but that stuff does creep me out a little bit. I got people I call for that, right? This one, stairway to the toilet. What? I have no idea where that is. But, and I don't even know, like, some of the others I could kind of wrap my head around, like the 5-gallon bucket, maybe the guy was broke and he's like, okay. But this, I don't even know. And then this, yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Right, we got a guy. This, if your garbage disposal fails you, and you have a blender, that's underneath the kitchen sink now, and plumber can fix that. Yeah. real stuff. All right, that's all I have prepared. I'm willing to take questions. I'm willing to hang out afterwards, whatever. Are there any questions? Yeah, well, if you don't mind the mic. And I gotta get rid of this candy because I'm on a diet. So yeah, go ahead with your question.
How do you find probate properties?
How do we find probate? That's a great question. Probate and almost everything else up there on the list, on that list that I had, you can Google and find a supplier that will give you a list. You can do probate for free. Who's using my script for probate? Are you guys doing probate still? You are? You're pulling it off CaseNet? Yeah. So Missouri CaseNet will give you a list for free. So what I did, who passed that? Was that you? I can't take it home. Missouri CaseNet. Anybody have a daughter of dating age? I do. Stand up, Mallory. Okay, thank you. Sit down. Now her boyfriend stand up? Dude, I checked you out on CaseNet. I'm just giving him trouble. This is Austin from Bedrock Roofing. If you've got a roof that you think insurance, he'll come out for free, climb all over your roof. He counts how many dimples, hail dimples per square foot. He'll negotiate with your insurance company. That's the dude to call if you need a roof. Anyway, sorry to embarrass you. CaseNet, if you've never done it, you type in somebody's name and their whole history of legal stuff in Missouri pops up. All the probate cases are on CaseNet. Anybody ever use Upwork? Upwork, it's a website where you can hire people from other countries. And the dollar is so off balance with other countries, I can hire a PhD physicist in the Philippines right now for $5 an hour US. $5 an hour. And they'll write scripts that'll grab data off of your screen. I don't even begin to know how they do it, but they write, I think it cost me $200 to write a script that I can run on my laptop. It'll log it to CaseNet and pull every probate case. Then it'll go through and it'll delete out all the children probate, like sometimes it's a custody, the parents die and there's a 3-year-old. You don't want to mail that. It's not pretty. And yeah. And probate will make some people mad, but you're there as a service. So anyway, hopefully that answered your question. But if you don't want to do that, you can just buy a list. There's list providers online that'll sell it. Other questions? You guys. Nice to share with your friends. Yeah, go ahead. So his question was, let's say you have a deal that you're wanting to sell, how do you get it sold? So back in the day, which was 5 years ago, I used to send out emails. I had a list of probably about 40,000 real estate. And if we were 5 years ago, I would have put up a link and had you all join that link to get my contact, and you would have had to put in your email. So I built the list over time, and I did an email blast. Now, that's old. I'm an old guy. Now people put it on Facebook Marketplace and you sell it fast. Are you guys using Facebook? Is that primary? Anybody selling it any way other than Facebook? How are you selling? You still do an email list? Yeah. Yeah. A lot of wholesalers, we'll sell stuff over and over to the same people. So a lot of times, if I get something, like say, I get something in St. Anne, I know who I'm going to call, or there might be 3 people. So the market's going to change, right? So right now there's buyers everywhere. That's the last of them. You get, right now there's buyers everywhere. If I get a deal under contract, it's easy to find buyers, but the market's going to change again. And when it does, back in the day when like 2008, 2009, when we were wholesaling, the deals were, it was almost the opposite. Deals were everywhere, and we had to go and find the buyer. With that 99%, we found looking for the buyer. We'd find a buyer, and you'd say, well, there's deals everywhere. Why would the buyer could be a doctor, a lawyer. He doesn't want to mess with it. He wants you to bring him the deal on a silver platter. Now they call that reverse wholesaling. We may get back to that, but right now there's buyers everywhere. It's easy. Yeah. Everybody has their own so the question was, do I have a geographic region that I work, or all over the country? I find that in order to find the ARV, I stay real local in areas that I'm familiar with. I live out in Wentzville School District, so I try to stay in St. Charles County because I'm familiar with it. I'm lazy, I don't want to drive. I will go to St. Louis County. I'm not familiar at all with the city. I'm really not. I'm bad with the city. You guys are South City, you know, street by street, the values could be different. It's hard to figure out. I go where I'm comfortable. And when I first got started, I thought, man, I'll go anywhere to find a deal. And then after a while, you realize you don't have to. It's better to be in an area that you know. Somebody calls you and say, hey, I've got something in this area, you know. You've got an idea of the range, you've got an idea what it's worth. Yeah. Yeah. No, same contract. Same contract. I'm not selling anything tonight. I'm not just okay. All right. Yeah. So getting out of here. Yeah, so her question was, okay, awesome, will you take one? That's the contract, and here's the assignment. Now, I don't have enough of these to go around, so when they run out, you guys will have to email me and I'll send you one. You need each of those are separate, so one of them's got the contract, one of them's got the assignment. You need them both, okay? So her question was, what's the verbiage in the contract that lets you get out of it? Let me just read this part here. This is what my attorney put in the contract. It just very simply says, if buyer is unable to complete the purchase for any reason, the buyer is released from any further obligation under this contract. I'm not an attorney, but I think that's pretty safe. Pretty safe. Yeah, I'll take one or two more, but I think most of those hands are for contract. Yeah, Charles. Absolutely. So he said, does this work with commercial? Absolutely. And the numbers are bigger. Here's the cool thing about commercial. There's so few people going after commercial that it's a little more challenging to figure out the value, but if you can figure out the value, so here's the thing. So some of you guys know, 2 years ago, I bought into a mobile home park. I love that thing. It's a cash flow machine. So then I got the bright idea, is we're cold calling for houses. Let's cold call for mobile home parks. So I had my son, he's not here tonight, had him start cold calling for mobile home parks. Guess what? Mobile home parks are easy to get phone numbers for. They want you to call them. They answer the phone. He spent an hour, he got a lead. He spent another hour, he got another lead. Man, if we could generate leads like that from houses, right? It would be amazing if we could do that. Now, so you can absolutely wholesale commercial, 100%. The challenge is figuring out the value. Yeah.
Just one comment on the slide you went over briefly.
The toilet?
Well, no. By the way, I have a story of the toilet I can tell you.
That chandelier in the beginning was for you.
But there's the slide that showed, not all distressed properties, some of them are very nice. Just so people know that once you get into this and get bigger into it, you can do some really nice properties in wholesale. I did an inspection about a month ago where it was a property being wholesale. And I was doing the inspection for the guy who was buying it from the wholesaler. He was buying it for $570,000. So there are some really, really nice houses out there that, in this case, he was buying it for $570,000. He was going to be selling it for about $6,000. ARV would have been about $750,000 or so. So it doesn't have to be a low-end $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 property. There are some really nice properties out there. If you have the wherewithal or the guts to put them under contract, you can make good money off those higher-end properties for wholesale.
Yeah, the math still works. The math works regardless of how big it is. Do you guys have any stories that you feel like you urgently need to share before you need to share your crazy story? Or, so good, I'll add that to my list, thank you. Which one of the crazy stories? Okay, I think I'm just gonna wrap up. Is Jim still here? Do I turn it back over? Where'd he go? Yeah. With this, I'm done. If there's, I'll be around. Feel free to stop me. Feel free to stop these other wholesalers. But thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Chris, thank you very, very, very much. I hope everybody learned something. I hope everybody had a great time. And I won't say all our speakers every month are as good and nice as Chris, but if you're not a member and want to join, we do have a lot of good speakers throughout the year. So admittedly, they're not all the speakers you're interested in, but I've also come to the meetings and go, I'm not really sure if I really care about this topic, but I learned something. So for $75 a month, I mean a year. You're right. I was just checking to see if you guys were listening earlier. A year. So, Chris, thank you very much. I want to remind everybody, you don't need to be a member to join us on our Friday Zoom call. Look at our website and to join us for the monthly lunch at Applebee's. You don't need to be a member. Networking. We have this room till what, 9:30, Lloyd? You can stick around, network, ask Chris questions if he's going to stick around. But anything else? Oh, Lloyd wants me to sell some more comic books. So if you want, coloring books, coloring books. And yeah, next month we will have tickets for the circus. Hey, this is the first time I've done this in years. So that's it. So anybody have any questions on the RIA in general? Yes, Brian. Yeah, I mean, networking, I'm going to give you one example, and I've given it to Victor over there already, that I learned after I became a member of AREA. So I have some rental properties. So the Wright City guy may not affect you, but St. Louis County has MSD, Metropolitan Sewer District. So most people have their tenants pay the utilities. I pay the sewer. I pay MSD as part of my rent. Because if they don't pay the electric bill, electricity is going to go off. If they don't pay the gas can get turned off. If they don't pay the water gets turned off. If they don't pay the sewer, they can't turn the sewer off. MSD can put a lien on the house. And I may not know about it. So you learn things just networking, talking. So that's all. Make your own decisions, do your own due diligence, and I'm glad everybody had a good time. Thank you very much. You can stick around, network, and hopefully we'll see you at another meeting. Thank you.